They're both good, man. They're both 8-bit. All right, we're live. We're gonna wait for a couple people to get in here. We're gonna have a great time today, K Dot. I think, anyways. Plus a few little tidbits, little updates. We're gonna make this as quick as possible of a stream because I think we got some business to attend to, which we'll talk to the audience about here in just a minute. K Dot, something that just came over the wire. If I wouldn't have already set up this stream, I would have
Right.
foregone that to head to a shooting in Aurora. But we'll probably be heading over after. Let's make sure that I'm live. Let me make sure that I'm live. We'll wait for, like I said, people haven't been getting the notifications, Kate. I know you haven't been getting my
Yeah,
notifications either.
I
It's
have
really
not. I
weird.
think I
Yeah.
just got it now. Let me
Or did
see.
you? Good. And you got
Let me
yours. Okay,
check.
good. Good, 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 good. Okay, it looks like we're in good shape here. All right, we're like I said, we're gonna wait for a couple people to get in here. Um, but this is
Oh,
gonna
I
be a,
did now. Finally. Yeah, I did.
you did good.
I
All
did
right,
get a
cool.
notification. Yeah.
You see my look at that keeper's in there. You're playing with your wire. No, Sasquatch, proud of you. Melissa, what's up? Nice to have you in here. And King Solomon, what's up? All right, let's go ahead and get started because we got some business to attend to. Hang tight. Here's the intro. All right, everybody, it's MLH. This is a special little thing I threw together for somebody very special. As you can see there, it says KDot's 10K Bro for Bro celebration. With me today, of course, is the man of the hour. Too humble to do his own stream. DJ KDot, the party. KDot, what's up, my man?
What's up, man? I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the celebration, man. It's a great day. Um, we made it to 10K, and I'm overwhelmed with joy on that because that means we get a lot more people to educate
Yeah,
and
yeah.
to help learn uh, their unalienable rights, and I'm quite excited. I'm humbled. I appreciate the people who supported me and subscribed, and so I'm super hyped right now. So
I'm hyped too. Hey, Keeper says you were twerking last night. Any truth to those rumors, K Dot, that you were twerking on your stream last night?
that I was twerking,
Yes.
it's a possibility. It's a possibility that I was.
All right, let's
We had
first
a
of
good
all.
time last night, man. We really did, man. It was King Solomon was security. Um, Shout out to him. He was getting overwhelmed though. He was getting overwhelmed.
I was
So
probably too many people, man. I mean,
it
you're
was starting to
big
get.
time superstar now, man. I mean, you probably have to have waiting list and people slipping you like Benjamins to get in the front of the line, stuff
Yeah,
like that. Hey, let's talk
yeah.
about those streams in particular, Kate, before we get on to other stuff here.
hmm
Are you going to make those a regular thing? Because it seems like people really, really enjoy that.
I think I am gonna make it a regular thing because what's the point of being named DJ Kate at the party if I don't bring the party, and
That's
it's just
right. And people don't realize that you are an actual DJ,
I'm an
Kate.
actual DJ. That is not a nickname. That
Right.
is that is what I do. I'm nasty on those ones and twos, like I say, uh, all the time, and I think we just have a good time, man. It was a really good time. Um, but I will tell you this: from here on out, you got to be on the stream. If you don't catch the stream, you just missed that stream. So
Yeah, I missed it yesterday, man. I slapped myself because I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there." Got caught up with some other shit, and of course I missed it. I never get notifications, which really fucking sucks. But I'm gonna try to make the next one, man, because they're. I went to the first one. The first one was,
Yeah.
as the kids say, bomb. So it's actually those are the grown-ups that say bomb now,
Yeah, that's
K-Dot.
just
It's I
grown
don't
up.
even know
Yeah.
what it is now, but
I
but
think they say lit.
you're
I
right,
think
lit.
lit.
Okay, there you
Lit.
go. Lit. I think I thought that was past its prime as well,
Yeah.
but apparently that's still going.
It
But
was
I can't keep up, bro. This is too much.
yeah, and plus, the people want it, I'm gonna give it to them. So I just I ask, always make sure to ask if is that what y'all like? Is this y'all want us to keep continuing with this? And they say yes. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because Strictly Strange and I were doing like a Saturday night like DJing thing and stuff, and but ours were mostly like rock and other types of music. Although I do, I play rap and all kinds of shit too, but
yeah.
there's no way I can DJ like you. You got the proper equipment to do your job. I mean, mine is just a little impromptu YouTube thing, but you do a
Right.
really good job with it. But let's see. Bernie suggested shirtless DJ KDot the other day at coffee. KDot. So, is there any chance we could see shirtless DJ KDot anytime soon?
I gotta work out, man. I look, I got a dad bod,
I'll do it. I'll do shirtless
Oh,
anytime because I
can
don't
you?
I don't have a camera, KDot, so I can get away with that.
Can you?
Shut up, Bernie. Get out of here.
That is true. That is true. I didn't think of that. Yeah, that is true.
I mean,
Yeah.
who knows? Might not even have pants on right now.
Oh
Shut up,
Lord.
Bernie. Get out of here.
It's getting
Um,
a, it's getting a little hot tubbish in here.
I know, I know. No, this is not meant to be a hot Ellie. Welcome on in. Nice to have you on in the chat. Thank you very much for being here.
Ellie, hey.
Um, let's see. I'd have to ID you MLH before you come into the club. Yeah, what's funny is I'm older than dirt, and I still get ID'd for alcohol and other such stuff. So that's not news for me, King Solomon. So okay,
Mm,
so let's get to business here, K Dot. Let's
yep.
talk about your journey from one to now 10,000 subs.
Mhm.
I mean, I know you've said this before on your streams. I've iterated it a few times on my streams.
Yep.
How we got into the game. So let's start there. How did you start your YouTube channel?
Wow. It says I started the channel or established it in. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. We're
Okay.
listening.
It says that I had established it in 2016. But I'd never used it. I just
Okay.
always looked at other people's channels, and then so I started my YouTube channel. The road to YouTubing, I would say, 2019
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
no, I was
I
because
think
I
the
was on
first.
Facebook. I would say 2020, early 2020. Yeah, because I mostly did. I started doing cop watching on my Facebook and streaming off of there, and then I'm like, you know what? Let me try this YouTube thing, and then that's when I started it. So I would say maybe either late December or early January is
Yeah.
when I had started it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I first noticed your channel probably a little over a year ago now, probably a year and I don't know, a few months, but you were on my radar for the longest, man. I mean, all the heavy hitters were, out there, but I was always searching for somebody in Denver, and nobody fit the bill for what I wanted until I came across your channel. And then it's kind of funny because I actually met you, Kata, and I know you remember.
Mhm.
You were doing a live where you were doing a cop watch kind of close to Peoria and like I-70,
Yep.
right there at that Bolero. And I was like, well, damn, that's just, that's not too far from where I live. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna go meet this guy because this guy is the guy on YouTube that I really like, and he's in the Denver area. Like this is somebody that I really want to connect with, and because I like the style, I like the way that you handle your cop watches. I really like the reasons why you were in it, which we'll get into in a minute here. But that was the first time that I met KDot, and it almost was like an instant thing, you know, I don't even know how we started cop watching together, KDot, but I know that's when we first met, and we kind of hit it off, and things progress from there, and you know, now we're at where we're at, where
Yep.
you know, it is what it is. So let's talk about you, KDot, and
Okay.
why why the cop watching, why the activism, why, I know you've said this several times before, so you know, forgive me for going over
No.
territory that's
No.
already been covered 100 times. Graham's, nice to have you in there. Mick T, thank you for being in here. I'll get to your comment in a minute, Keeper, I promise. Fab Daddy, welcome. So let's talk about the actual, what's up, Pudentane, the actual reason for you doing the activism and the YouTube cop watching and all of that stuff. You know, first before we continue on.
Okay. Um. Well, I think generally put it. Let's see. I started watching cop watching. Well, first I started watching ID refusals.
Hmm.
So it would start there. It would always coming across my Facebook all the time. And I'm just like, wow, geez, you know. And I'm seeing like different traffic stops, and then um well, let me take that back. There was a lot of police misconduct on video that I seen. Then it became the ID refusals, and then it became the audits, and then cop watching. So I was heavily impressed with the cop watching. My favorite cop watcher is South News Now, South Carolina. That's my favorite cop watcher. Um, Next to that list is Big Nick, South Florida Accountability. Um, a huge hero of mine. And yeah, so I just started watching those particular videos, and also also watched this program on YouTube called uh, Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Hmm.
And I think he popped the idea, maybe not cop watching, but some form of accountability. And he had stated, he said, and he's all black media, and he said, I'm tired of black people complaining about what's going on in the neighborhood as far as police misconduct, but doing absolutely nothing about it. And I was just like, bingo. It was like, whoa. It was like a mirror thing. And then the situation happened with Elijah McClain, and then that's what lit a fire under my ass, and was just like, all right, go time.
Right, right.
So
So yeah, the Elijah McClain thing, I know, also kind of rubbed you the wrong way as well. Can you
yeah,
talk a little bit about that? Because I mean, to be honest with you, KDot, like I think it's faded from memory for a lot of people. Either
yeah,
that or they never really paid attention.
yeah,
And that one hit me hard too, KDot, even though it hit us in different ways and we weren't cop watching together at the time. I
right,
remember it pretty vividly because it was it certainly wasn't the first time that Aurora has been on the map for
sure,
misconduct or, you know, nefarious doings, within
yep,
their department, which we'll definitely talk about as well. But
hmm,
it was like the biggest, like most national thing that Aurora could have done to put them in the spotlight. Talk a little bit about that and your experience, like hearing about that, and then, you know, obviously its influence on what you do.
so um, with Elijah McClain situation, well, I think what mainly inspired me was that he died alone. you know, he was jumped by a gang of animals, and there was no cop watchers. There weren't even any bystanders with cell phones. He literally died alone. And I always would wonder, if a cop watcher was there, would he still be alive today? And I think he would.
Hmm.
Um, or multiple cop watchers, because one, I don't think they would have allowed that to happen, or they would have been a little bit more careful about what they did,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and a little bit more cautious. And not only that, Elijah would have had that support,
Right. Right.
you know.
See,
So
I think KDot cop watchers like yourself and I get a really bad rap. I mean, obviously the cops can't stand us. The vast majority of the general public can't stand us. And I think we get a bad rap because our purposes are very, very pure in a
mhm,
sense that you and I both don't want even one more death happening in Aurora or the Denver metro area due to police misconduct.
yep,
And that's why we're always out patrolling, or at least, I mean, lately I haven't because I've had other stuff going on, and I know you have too.
right.
But every chance we get, we're out there, and we're not there to pester the police,
No,
despite what some people say. We're not there to cause any other issues. We're there simply to make sure that the people that are involved in any type of interaction with the police come out at least alive. You can always fight the tickets, you can always fight the charges, but
right,
you can never come back from death. So I know that's important for you, just as much as it is important for me to make sure that everybody leaves at least alive from those situations. I know it sounds very, very basic and fundamental, but that's where we're at in today's police society, right?
right.
So, you know, I mean, what would you suggest others do, KDOT, that aren't per se cop watchers if they happen to see police out in the wild, interacting with any member of the public, regardless of skin color? Because I've heard, there's one criticism that I've heard of you and I, that we always lean towards the race card when it comes to policing, and we don't
Right.
point out much of anything else, to which I say that's absolute horseshit. I know you and I have been out on cop watches with, regardless of a person's skin color. It just
Right.
so happens that proportionately, people of color get accosted by cops at a rate that's pretty alarming. I think the last statistic that I looked at, if you're a person of color, you're 9 to 10 times more likely to be assaulted by a police officer.
Mhm.
So, and that a lot of times includes that person dying.
Right.
So maybe can you talk to a little bit about that and those kind of criticisms that are
Yeah.
levied against people like yourself and I, K-Dot?
Yeah. No problem. Well, I'm not gonna deny who I am. I'm a black man. I'm a
Mm,
man. I'm a man of color, and so I think they have this perceived notion that there is no racial dynamic in the spectrum of culture of policing,
mhm,
and like, well, we just want to stick with the issue at hand. We don't want to talk about race, and those are the people that you need to be worried about. You know, um, and I lost quite a few subscribers because of that. I think they wanted me to wear blinders and be like and not discuss the race thing. I am a man of color. I have a different experience than a white man when it comes to police. I
it
just do.
right.
It's just not the same. And not only that, let's not. uh, let's not forget history. The first cop watchers were the Black Panther Party. I want to be
Mhm.
very, very clear. And this is before they had guns. They would go to traffic stops, watch the police, document what they saw, but it wasn't with a camera. It was with a pencil and a notepad.
Mhm.
Um, but the reason why they started arming themselves because at those particular watches they would be beaten, so they got tired of getting beat, and so that's when they used their Second Amendment, and they became more prepared to where they would be protecting their neighborhoods against police violence. So,
Right.
and so that's why it's so incredibly strong when I say the things about police and what it's about, because I mean to to most white people, the system is broken, and to majority of people of color, we laugh at that because it's never been broken for us. You have to understand history instead of his story, you know. And the thing
Right.
is, the history is that the first form of policing were runaway slave patrols. They had badges, they had guns, and they had cuffs, and they answered to the elite uh, white men who were slave owners and landowners. They didn't necessarily answer to poor white people because they were poor. So, in that particular white superiority complex, uh, a lot of things have not changed. It's just what they did to us. It, they just rebranded it.
Mhm.
They just
It's
rebranded themselves. That's it.
right. It's not even an indictment on Caucasian people at all. Like I don't understand why people get upset when the topic of white privilege is brought up. It has nothing, nothing to do with a person's character.
Hmm.
It's just the way things are. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Right.
and white privilege is not, not
It's not even a
some.
bad thing.
No, it's not necessarily a bad thing, it just means that certain people are afforded, opportunities that everybody else is not without them even knowing it's not their fault. There's nothing, inherently wrong
Right.
with the people that are enjoying that privilege.
Right.
It's
Right.
it's just the way things are, and it takes really strong people. It started in the civil rights movement with white people, by the way, along with a lot of strong black people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and just a long litany of people. Cesar Chavez was big in the Hispanic community. I mean, you could name
Right.
a litany of civil rights leaders that would stand arm in arm with white people, black people,
For sure.
Asian people, whoever,
Right.
for equal rights, and that's
Right.
that's just the thing. Like everybody, and I know everybody that subs to me, everybody that subs to you fully understands this,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's a good thing to have be backed by such great people. Liberty Blair, thanks for being in chat. She says, "I am
Hey,
LH and
Liberty Blair.
KDot. Congrats on 10K." So yeah, I mean, yeah,
Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it. And
yeah,
honestly, to
from
tell you the
Liberty,
truth, it's just um again, about white privilege is not a bad thing. It's actually I don't think it's a bad thing at all. It is what it is. But what you do with that privilege
right,
is a thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like a superpower. And but what are you gonna do with it? If
right,
if
right,
you're a white, happen to be a white person, and you have a black friend, y'all go to the movies, and your black friend's being discriminated against. You would hope that your white privilege, you would stand up for him or her and not allow that to happen. So
right.
that's basically an example of that. But I mean, other than that, I definitely have white constituents. I have white friends and stuff like that, and it's just but those people that I that support me are mainly white.
Right. Right.
So, which is cool, you know.
Right.
I think it's a dope thing, but I doesn't mean that I forget who I am and where I come from.
Right. Right.
So,
You touched on something, K Dot, and it had to do with wealth. And
mhm,
I think that's also an important, distinguishing factor
yeah,
in the way that police handle a lot of situations. I mean, we
sure,
already know that the thin blue line is in full effect, right? Like that it is the thin blue line is the biggest gang in the United States. You also touched on that.
yep,
And I truly believe that that's, the true domestic terrorists of the United States are the police because they've
yep,
terrorized black, white, brown indiscriminately. If you're poor,
yep,
you're you probably have um, garnered the wrath of the police at some point, and
right,
that's a unifying thing that has brought us all really together as cop watchers, First Amendment fighters, Second Amendment fighters, et cetera, constitutionalists in general. And it shouldn't be along party lines either. I mean, if you're a Democrat or a Republican, you should all want the same thing. Ajad, what's up? Nice to have you in here. Really
thank
appreciate
you, Edge. Appreciate it.
that. So, the wealth thing in particular is very, very irritating because there have been several instances where a celebrity has been pulled over for speeding or any number of things that a normal
Mhm,
average American would be pulled over and have to pay a huge fine or go to court and inevitably get the maximum fines and whatnot but because, wealth pretty much says all, a lot of times charges are dropped
yep,
because, hey, this person is I mean, how many times have you seen a famous football player
oh yeah,
get away with a lot, up to and including murder and
yep,
domestic abuse and all kinds of other things just because of their stature. And it's sad that that's where we are, but that's where we are, you know? So,
yep. I
um
think yeah, you're right. I think
yeah.
a lot of them, as far as the celebrities, for some reason, they're just granted immunity.
Right, right.
So,
Or people that have a ton of money. I mean, Harvey
yeah.
Weinstein for years,
Oh yeah.
evaded police, and was doing terrible things with people, even wealthy people like Rose McGowan and Asia Argento was another one of his victims that was passed
Mhm.
around. I mean, look at Epstein. I mean, how
Right.
long did it take?
Oh
And
wow.
Epstein never faced justice.
Uh,
So
uh, R. Kelly.
R.
You know.
Kelly's another one, I mean, it
Um.
just it's sad, you know?
Honestly, and I'm gonna just throw it out there, but um, and this saying allegedly, uh, you know, the higher ups and the music execs, uh,
The
I
you
think a lot of them are up to no good too,
Right.
as far as
Billionaires and
human
millionaires we're
trafficking.
talking about,
Yeah.
here at KDot.
Hmm.
Fab Daddy says, "I'm getting peer pressure, how do I handle it?" I said, "No, I wanna be here." That's right, Fab Daddy, you tell him, "No, I wanna be right here, right now." Um, so let's talk about you,
Okay.
again, KDot. I know you're too humble to really do stuff like this and talk about yourself and um it is what it is,
Yep.
and that's why I'm doing this 10K celebration for you because you're too humble to do it. So, um, let's talk about like your future. What does the future hold for the channel, and what can we expect in the near future and beyond
Hmm.
from DJ K. Dot the Party, the YouTube channel?
Well, and I'm glad you said that. DJ K. Dot, the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Because um, I don't want to be put in a box as just specifically cop watching, you
Mhm.
know, and sometimes I don't like being put in a box. I just don't because I have so much to offer. Uh, like the Sunday night slow jams or the slow jams, just to kind of I want people to kind of relax. Maybe if they're cleaning up their house or something like that, they can listen to some really great music. Um, Not only that, the conversation, relations and relationships. I think we have really really dope conversations. It's funny, you know what I'm saying? Something that we can uh get to going as far as uh asking and having real conversations on relationships and how we interact with each other and how we're meant to be with each other. And I want to, again, I'm a DJ, so I support local artists. I want to bring local artists on my show and give them somewhat of a platform so people could go hear their music.
Mhm.
um I want to do more interviews with elected officials, with more civil rights activists. That's I just want to broaden my spectra. You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just want to have that grace to do that. So, um, I love the people who support me doing cop watching. But if you really support me, support me in everything.
Yeah.
Because I
Conspiracy Music says, "Music, hit me up." Conspiracy's a wicked musician, KDot. He's a great
oh,
guitarist,
cor-
and I love his channel. You guys should check out Conspiracy Music. He's really, really, really good and very humble too. He won't tell you he's good, but he's sneaky good, man. That guy's
hell
really
yeah,
good.
conspiracy.
Yeah,
Not a problem. Not a
yeah.
problem. I
Um,
want to be able to put, and not only that, but there's a few people who are. I think that's why I do the relationship show, because there are people who own businesses and stuff, and it's another way to um uh expose them to my audience, because they might like something that they're necessarily selling. I don't know. To be like, oh, he has a, I don't know, a carpet cleaning business. Wow, wow. Where can I find him?
yeah,
And
yeah.
just helping each other out, um and wanting to see everybody grow,
It's
so.
funny that you kind of, said it, Dot, and I always tell people this about myself too.
Mhm.
We're both like jacks of all trades, right? I mean,
Mhm.
I'm not the type to think that I'm the greatest at any one thing, but I can damn sure do a lot of good things pretty damn good, right? So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I kinda think of you in that same light, although I've said this for a long time, and I've said this to you and others, as well. I think you're the best Denver has to offer, KDot. And I mean that sincerely. I think you are the person to look up to if you're I mean I hate saying this, but like aspiring cop watcher. It sounds weird, but because there's
Yeah.
really no money in it, if you really get down to
No.
brass tacks. But if you're aspiring to make a change, and be a good activist and a good person to look up to, I don't think there's any better in the Denver metro area than DJ Kato at the party, even though he would never say that himself. So, Penny Bunny, welcome to chat. Nice to have you in there, and thanks for hitting that like button, Matthew. It really does help the channel. Um, so, oh, Fab Daddy says I need the scoop on the movie. What's cooking? Okay, real quickly, this isn't a MLH stream. This is a KDOT stream, but I will give you guys the skinny. I'm dotting the I's and crossing the T's on the script. I've finished the script, but I still have to fine tune it a little bit, just get the scenes in order and
Mhm.
stuff like that. In February, I'm sure KDOT and I are going to be hooking up at some point to go look for locations for shooting. I am not going to be doing it the shooting in February, like I said. But if you guys remember, I said it was weather specific. I want to do it when it's nice weather outside because it's been damn cold. Like right now
Yes.
in Denver, it's like 1 degree. So, it's like
Oof.
I cannot shoot in that weather at all. So
Right.
it's gonna probably be May. I'm shooting for May. If May clears up and it's really nice, then we'll start shooting in May, maybe June, but the movie will be done by the end of the summer. That's what I'm shooting for, Fab Daddy. Now stuff can come up, and maybe I can't get enough actors or whatever. But here's a scoop for you guys. KDOT has a part in the movie. So um, that will definitely probably get your juices flowing a little bit. Also, Sasquatch has a part in the movie too.
Mm,
Pretty significant part. Even though he doesn't have to necessarily be here in Denver to shoot, he does play a little good part in the movie, and I love um, KDot's part in the movie because it's actually more significant than what people realize. And I've already talked to KDot about it. It's gonna be really cool. So
yeah,
also here's another exclusive for you all. I will be working on writing KDot's idea for another movie that I'm hoping to shoot by the end of the year. So
yeah,
um, and it's a really good fucking idea, and I can't wait to get started on that. But first things first, let's worry one thing at a time, and hopefully by the end of summer I'll have one movie out of the way, and then we can start thinking about shooting another movie right after. So
yep,
that's where that is, Fab Daddy. So there you go. That's the scoop. I will be having a stream once I fine tune that script to show you guys a couple of pages from the script, just so you guys can see, what's going on with it. Get a little, I mean, just for the subs. So, be looking forward to that. Big and Bean, welcome to chat. We're talking with DJ KDot. He recently hit 10,000 subscribers, and for a cop watcher, that's a huge accomplishment. KDot, like you have to be. I mean, I thought that hitting 50 for me was a really, really big accomplishment, and I mean, to me, I mean, anybody watching my streams, my big goal was 50. What when you first started out, KDot, what was your goal as far as subscriber count was?
I never thought about that honestly. Um, I just wanted to do the work, and even if my yeah, I just didn't. I never thought about that. I never. My goal was just to get people to see the work, and knowing that my community knew that I was out there, you
Mm,
know, and so that they can rest easy at night.
yeah.
So at first, no, I didn't think about that. I didn't. I never um, did a goal, but then I think maybe the first maybe 6 months, then I started like, okay, I think I might be getting a buzz here, and then I started setting goals and was like, hey guys, let's make it to this goal, let's make it to that goal as far as the viewership, and so
Yeah.
that's how that happened.
Janet Matson, welcome to chat. Really appreciate you being on in here. Um, so really humble beginnings, KDot. I know you've never been one to really toot your own horn, this and that and the other, but I really think that you're on your way to being. I'm gonna say it. I think within a year or two, you're gonna be the big dog on the block when it comes to Denver, in particular, in the Denver metro area.
Yeah.
Is there any advice you'd give to somebody just starting out? Wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, just thinking that the world is their oyster, and getting into this. Like, what good advice would you have
hmm
for somebody just starting out as a cop watcher, or would you recommend it at all?
um that's a great question. um well, first of all, I believe this particular situation has to choose you. If you choose it, it'll never work, you know then because you're kind it just feels like you're then kind of doing it for um, an unexplained agenda,
Mhm,
and or maybe clout chasing or something like that. No, this has to pick you, and when it picks you, you'll know because you have passion
mm, mm.
for it, and you don't care about the money, you don't care about anything else. You care about getting the work done and get disseminating that information back to the public. 'Cause that's my duty, is the public, is to make sure that I get them the best content and the the best updates, all of those things.
Do
That's
you
very,
ever
very
worry
much.
about the content? itself, KDot, or do you let that fall as it may? Do you, in other words, like for me, for instance, you're right. Like it kind of has to choose you, and I feel that way about quote unquote content. Like
Hmm.
if I feel like hitting up a library or doing cop watching or doing an audit on a prison, like it just comes to me kind of natural.
Yeah.
Or somebody might suggest something, is that
Right.
is that kind of how you feel as well, or do you like plan things well in advance and say, I'm going to hit up this and this, and we're going to do
Right.
this is the I know the answers to these questions, but
Yeah.
I'm asking you so that you can tell everybody out there how your kind of your thought process behind what you do.
Well, when it comes to that, well, first let me address this. If you want to become a cop watcher or First Amendment auditor, make sure you learn your rights. Make sure you study vigorously in the law library. You can study on Google, but as long as you study and make sure that you're out there knowing what you're doing, um, and also taking calculated risk, not risk, but calculated risk.
Mm.
And um, the the other question was, uh,
Just how you pick what you do,
oh, how I plan.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, I try to do a Google search on some facilities, check out the landscape, and making sure that I'm um not exceeding the property line when it comes to sidewalks or side streets or whatever. Just making sure that when I do this, that I'm legally within my rights to do so. So
Right, right. John Eagle, what's up? Nice to have you in there. Fab Daddy says content creators are kind of egocentric. They can
yeah,
be, Fab Daddy. K-Dot and I have run into plenty of people like that are
hmm,
very, let's just put it this way, into themselves. So,
yeah,
Conspiracy
yeah,
Music says also prepare for jail. And that's an important part, K-Dot. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I mean, I'm not one to toot my own horn, KDOT,
okay,
and I'm kind of proud of my record so far, even though I know that streak's going to come to an end, But I've never been arrested, even though I've
okay,
come close several occasions. I know you've been arrested 3 times, and all 3 times you've beaten every single one of those charges because you did nothing wrong and you did nothing illegal.
right,
So, can you talk to everybody about that in particular? Because I think it's a fine point that Conspiracy Music brings up. If you're not prepared to take the ride, you
sure,
might not want to do this.
right. I was arrested twice, took 3 charges, um, because they're assholes. Uh, uh, um, yes, I made peace with myself, um, that I was gonna see it all the way through,
Mhm,
and that meaning jail time if I had to.
mhm,
Again, I have a limit, a perfect record, only some traffic violations, but other than that, I pride in myself not, being in jail and all those type of stuff because I'll never forget my mother saying, "If you go to jail, do not call me."
I think
And
my
that
parents said a
statement
version of
there
right. I
kept
think
me
my
out of jail.
parents said a similar version, but their version
Yeah.
was if you ever get put in jail, be looking for a new house the next day. So, you
Yeah. So, my mom and dad instilled that in my mind, and that's just really never left.
mm,
Now I did call them, but it wasn't to have them bail me out or anything like that, or send me any bailment. It was to let them know that I'm okay and I'm safe, but this is where I'm at. So
mhm, mhm.
if they
Fab Daddy says, I think
get a
both
hold
of
of me,
you, right. Fab Daddy says, I think both of you care more about the reactions you get with the camera, not about the person holding the camera. And I can tell you, I can't, I mean, the only person I can speak of is for myself, but
Yeah.
everything that I seen from KDOT, that is absolutely true,
Yeah.
Bad Daddy, and I know for me it's true because KDOT and I certainly aren't doing this for money.
No.
We're definitely doing it for the activism part of things, and
Yeah.
you
I'd
know,
be
I
homeless.
right. Right. Channel Transparency, welcome. Good evening, MLH. He says, I think I'm around my around I think I'm around my mom saying if we ever got arrested at 3 in the morning, don't bother calling because we're not going to pick you up, spend the night in jail. Yeah,
Yeah.
see, I mean, now
Okay.
there's a difference, Channel Transparency. If you're not doing anything wrong, I'm sure your parents would be very supportive, as would ours. So that's the whole thing. You gotta be prepared, and I think it was the great Ellie, who I think is still in chat, that always said that it's not whether or not you're willing to take the ride, is it's that if you're prepared to
Hmm.
take the ride, and that entails a lot. There's a lot
Yeah.
lot goes behind that. There's even though you and I, Kate, I know very well that we're never going to do anything that's illegal.
No.
There's always a chance that we're going to take that ride. It's just a matter of whether or not we're prepared. And I think both of us are firmly in that camp of being prepared to take that ride. So,
For sure.
Solomon
I
says
agree.
he's been arrested 3 times, just like
Oh no.
KDot. So, um, we definitely don't recommend getting arrested. As a matter
Right.
of fact,
No.
I even think KDot and I'm not going to tell you guys what we were planning or what I was planning because sometimes I plan. But KDot was like, we better hold off on that for right now, and I fully agreed with him. So there are times where we think about doing things where we have to hold off for reasons, and it's just that way. Like neither of one of us ever wants to be arrested. Are we prepared? You're damn right we're prepared,
No.
and we're prepared to fight it all the way till the end too. So that's the things you got to. And something else that most cop watchers won't talk about, KDOT, and I want your take on this because we haven't talked about this on air.
Okay.
Um, but we've talked about it, behind the scenes. But I think it's important for people wanting to get into the cop watching game, so to speak,
Right.
is to understand that you have to prepare to fight things all the way. And what I mean by that
Right.
is obviously you want to fight the criminal charges all the way. You never want to take a plea deal. If you're innocent, why would you ever take a plea deal? Now, there's several reasons people would give me, like it would save you money, it would save you time, it would save you this, that, and the other. And I believe that those are excuses, right? So that's part of the deal. You have to be willing to fight for your right to be exonerated from those charges if you did nothing wrong. Now, if you did something wrong, take a plea deal, right? Because you did
Right.
something wrong. By all means, take a plea. But after that, after you're found not guilty, which you've been found not guilty now 3 times, KDOT, which is fucking awesome in my
Right.
opinion because you've never done anything wrong
Right.
lawfully. So the other thing is the civil part of it, right? When you're prepared to go to court and battle the cases civilly, don't you also have to be willing to go all the way with that? I mean, the allure of money is great, right? Like settling out of court is preferable for the lawyers for sure. It's preferable for the city. But what about the cause? Is it the best thing for the cause, KDOT?
As far as the you said, as far as the
As far as like battling things to the point civilly, to where you come up with a settlement. I don't necessarily think
right.
settlements are always good for the cause.
So
Yep. Yeah.
the only time, okay, so it no, I don't, me neither, because they usually tend to end up the police not being at fault, which allows them to repeat the uh the same situation over and over and over again, um and just continuously be saved by their insurance company.
Hmm.
So if I'm saying, if you do take whatever deal that they give you,
Hmm.
it's civilly, um make sure there is policy change, and make sure that they publicly apologize for what they display, because then you're making them the example. Now
Mhm.
you're holding them accountable truly, because now uh if you apologize, that's followed up with change behavior.
Now we've seen that
You know?
the opposite, right? Where the police demand an apology from the aggrieved, right? Like I don't want to mention any names, get in a big flame war with
Right.
some of the big dogs on the block. You know who I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, it's happened before where you know a certain cop watcher has apologized to the police. That's not the goal, right? The goal is the opposite,
Mm-mm.
to have the police apologize for infringing on your rights, not the other way
Right.
around.
Yeah.
So
Not. Yeah.
I I agree with that. Like I always said this. Look, the allure of the money is always going to be big, right? In a civil rights lawsuit, right? Even if it's something like 40, $50,000, that's a heck of a lot of money for the average person, right? You
Right.
take 33%, you're still going to end up with 20 grand or 30 grand or whatever. And that sounds all well and grand, right? I mean, here's your 20 grand, go spend it on a car or catch up on bills or whatever. But the point I'm trying to make, KDot, is it's not about the money for certain people, right? Now, sure, is that money good for the average person? Yes, it would be good for me. It would be good for you and a lot of people.
Right.
But the point is policy change, right?
Mhm.
And what we want is if people are arrested illegally,
Right.
is to have them change policy so those things don't happen. I'll give you a good example, KDot,
Hmm.
and you know this example very well.
Right.
In Denver, they have signs in all of their districts where they try to scare you and tell you that it's illegal to record in a police lobby. Right? They're on
Right.
bright big display, and I've been in a few lobbies, and I put up my camera, and I haven't been arrested. Now, my question is, why are those signs even up? Because they are constitutionally illegal, and that's an example of a change that could be big for a city, is to get those signs removed. And that's partially what you're talking about there, as far as like policy change, right? If they have like illegal signs, or they arrest you on spot for recording in a police lobby or things of that nature. Am I right?
That is correct. That's
Yeah.
absolutely correct. Because then, and that's why, having that case law behind you as well is freaking awesome. Because then, you know, that case law can help other people who may want to challenge authority,
Mhm.
you know, in a sense. And I think it's just great, because that'll help. They can use that case law and be like, no, you need to look up case law such and such, because you'll be um violating my inalienable rights,
Mhm.
which is protected by the Constitution.
Right.
um so um it's always good to have that extra meat, that extra backbone, to help solidify them getting you, or getting yourself out of an arrest, or at least having them thinking twice, like, okay, this person might be right. He might know what the hell he's talking about.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
I know that's helped us with the Turner versus Driver, even though that is in the 11th uh, district appellate court.
Right.
Um, but we're what 10th? We're 10th, and so, but in a long shot, we want to make sure that we have enough cases in the 10th Circuit Court,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
to help us with that. So,
Right. We're talking with DJ KDot, the newly minted 10,000 subscriber DJ KDot, in general about certain things. But I want to ask you a question, KDot,
uh-huh.
to get back to some of the funner things. What is your favorite all-time cop watching video?
A favorite all-time cop. I'm gonna have to go with I'm gonna have to go with James Freeman. Uh, when he had interviewed that detective.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great one. You're talking about the one was like, are you how much have
Yeah,
you been drinking? It's a great video, you
it's
know.
a
Did,
classic, man. It's a
yeah,
fucking
did you
classic.
just get out of the bar? You know, I
Yeah,
think that's funny because I think people are going to be surprised at my cop watching videos this year, KDot.
yeah,
And I'll be with you on a lot of them, KDot.
yeah.
You guys have no idea what's in store for you. Trust me, it's they're going to be good. So just
Yeah.
keep watching. Channel transparency, as they would say, you must obey my Adora tide. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Fab Daddy has a question here. Can we get marijuana reclassified as a drug? I don't think it's going to happen, Fab Daddy, until the money is there for the politicians. So always follow the money with that. I can talk about that on another stream. But what are your thoughts on that, K Dot? Like reclassifying marijuana as Schedule Two, getting it off of the Schedule Two.
I think it would be less inflation because if you really think about it, it would even out everything. You know, if it's federally legal, there is no they've done numerous case studies. Nobody's overdosed over marijuana, for
Right.
goodness sake.
It does
Jesus.
happen, but it's super rare. It's
Yeah,
super rare.
as long as um, it's it's used responsibly. Uh,
Right.
Not only that, it helps. I think it helps with revenue. I think if anything, it gives other people opportunity, and not only that, but this, if maybe if we change it federally, maybe those people who were locked up for just selling, pounds
Right.
and pounds
Right.
of weed, and mind you, those people are doing life sentences.
Right. Right. I
It would help those people out for
Yeah, I'll
sure.
I'll take it one step further, and like I said, I'll be talking about this on another panel, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I think it actually should be decriminalized. I think that's a better way
yeah,
to go. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I
Decriminalize for sure.
honestly think that people should be able to grow what they want, give it to whoever they want, sell it to whoever they want, et cetera. And I'll even take it a step further. Portugal made all illegal drugs legal, meaning heroin, cocaine. I know this sounds really terrible on the surface, but in all actuality, it was a boon for them because not only did the government start making revenue and people start making revenue, et
Mhm.
cetera, but like they added like way more rehab centers and safe places to shoot up and stuff like that. And it's been proven like you have a much better chance in that environment
Right,
to get off of hard drugs. You know what I mean?
right.
So there's thoughts on that. I know it would probably never happen in this country because there's too much money involved in the war on drugs and we can get into all that, but it is what it is. So um Fab Daddy says, why do politicians fight each other? Everyone agrees federal marijuana laws are wrong. It's just for the reasons that I said, Fab Daddy. There's no real money in it for them per se. There is money for the government in general. I mean, it's obvious here in Denver, the taxes are outrageous on marijuana.
Yeah,
I think it's up to 23.5% now.
yeah,
So, and that why do you think I grow my own? Because it's just ridiculous to pay that 23% on something when even something like cigarettes isn't even taxed that much, I mean, it's just
right.
ridiculously high. Rosie Things, welcome to chat. Thank you for being in here. We're talking with DJ KDot. He had a pretty big milestone. So, with that, I mean, I know he wouldn't probably do a stream on his 10,000 subscribers, but I sure did. So, there you go. Overdose with edibles, never smoking. It very rarely ever happens with edibles, Fab Daddy. I know it can happen, but and if you were to overdose, it would be with something like edibles for sure, not smoking. I mean, I think the last recorded case of somebody smoking too much marijuana and overdosing on smoking marijuana happened like probably 30 years ago, and that I don't even know how that happened. There had to have been some underlying issues,
Yeah,
the with that. Channel of Transparency says, my opinion, the reason they don't federally legalize it is they don't know how to regulate it like they regulate alcohol. It would be the
Uh,
same thing, channel of transparency. It would be the same exact thing. In all actuality, alcohol is responsible for way more deaths in this country than marijuana could ever even hope to to achieve.
and cigarettes. You know what
And
I'm saying? You're
cigarettes, yes.
absolutely right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
those are legal, and I just, I kind of just, pull up my eyebrow a little bit and being like, well, what the fuck? Like that doesn't even make any sense. Like
Yeah,
why?
it's a modern day prohibition, KDot,
Yeah.
and if prohibition was any indication, it's never gonna work. So eventually, I think it's gonna happen, but the legalization for sure. But I'm 100% for decriminalization. I don't think anybody should ever get in trouble for growing their own marijuana, using it, selling it, whatever. I mean, if you want to put regulations, then so be it. I mean,
Right.
I got in trouble, KDot, for handing out wrapped sandwiches. Like people were saying, like the trolls. They were
Right.
saying, you can't do that. You can't hand out people because you could make people sick and there's no accountability and blah blah blah. And
Right.
I'm like, look, these are fucking wrapped sandwiches. It's not like I didn't wash my hands and I mean these are legit sold in store sandwiches, so I don't
Right.
even hear any BS, that's why I don't like I could make my own food and bring it out there, but I know that criticism,
Right.
so
That makes
it's
sense.
it does make sense because you don't want to get anybody sick, you don't want anybody to die of fucking listeria or some weird, disease or something, maybe salmonella poisoning or something like that,
That is true.
so I do understand that, and that's why I shy away for the most part from doing that. But if I
Right.
ever do make my own food, I'm very careful, and I do my best to make sure that everybody's safe because I mean, you think my goal is to kill people? Like it's the
Right. Right.
opposite.
Right.
I want to give people a chance at living.
Right.
That's another
Definitely.
criticism I took, KDOT, and somebody asked me, why do you always go to Lakewood? It's because like those people are in more desperation, it seems, than any other part of the Denver metro area. And, if I can go out there and hand out food to somebody and that keeps them alive one more day, well, that's one more day that they had to think maybe I can turn this around, and make better for myself. I mean, I'm not saying that will happen, but at least there's a chance as opposed to no chance, so that's if anybody ever wonders why I do what I do, that's why I do it.
Well, I
um
got a question for you.
yeah,
What do you feel about and I think didn't they decriminalize shrooms?
they didn't decriminalize it, they
Okay.
legalized shrooms,
Okay.
and I'm all for it, KDOT, and I'll tell you why. There's been a
Okay.
lot of research and study about shrooms and their psychoactive abilities to help people with PTSD. That's why I was a big fan
Mm.
of the bill that passed. They just passed. I mean, it barely passed, but was really happy that prescribed shrooms pretty much. I mean, the same active ingredients in shrooms is what they're talking about when they like LSD and stuff like that.
Okay.
Now doctors are going to have the ability to prescribe, and it's been proven very effective for PTSD. So the science is there for the shrooms in particular and weed. So I'm very happy with that, actually, KDOT. And
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of like that type of unless I'm in a really controlled environment, i.e. my house and my room where I'm not going to hurt anybody, nobody can hurt me, that type of thing. I'm not a big obviously the same laws apply if you go out, when you're high or you're tripping on acid or
Well,
stuff
yeah,
like that, then
for sure.
obviously there's repercussions for that, but whatever somebody does in their own home, I could really care less as long as they don't hurt anybody else, so
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't
uh,
stop it, especially if they're grown and they bought it and whatever. It's just
right, right.
yeah, I'm with you.
I don't argue with you that on at all. I agree with you on that alcohol has caused more deaths than marijuana. Yeah, you know, God has calling for everybody, and it looks like God has you for this calling channel. Transparency says, there's thoughts to that channel. Transparency. I'm not doing this for any particular deity, your deity of choice. I'm doing this for people and simple morality and like it. Um, there is a lot to that channel. That's a loaded kind of statement. Channel transparency. If your moral compass is good, I think that's within you. Whether or not you're religious is besides the point. I don't have a problem with or without religion. I think that morality plays a big part in what we do. Period. Character is what you do when nobody's looking.
Right.
And
Integrity.
if you're righteous, you're righteous, and I know KDot is, and it's the reason why I mean, even though KDot is a much younger man than me, I really look up to KDot. I think KDot is the past, present, and future of what cop watching should be, and is a shining example, even for the big dogs out there. A lot of the big dogs have kind of retired and are living off the backs of other cop watchers with their videos, which I have no problem with. I don't even have problem with people making money on YouTube, KDot. Like you and I have been accused of, you know, I mean, clicks and views and all we do is for the glory and all this, which
Right.
nothing could be further from the truth.
Right.
But you know um if you happen to make money while you're being righteous and morally in the right and not morally bankrupt, then more power to you. So
Right.
I hope KDot becomes a millionaire. I really do. I mean, I hope he catapults into the upper echelon of all the good ones out there, and because I know him personally and I've met him and I've looked him eye to eye. KDot, I've met a lot of big ones, so to
Right.
speak, and
Yeah.
you can look into a person's eyes and you can hear their words and you know exactly who they are. And
Right.
I know who KDot is, and that's why I still hang with KDot. And and I'm sure you kind of feel the same way about me, KDot. Like,
All 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 the time, man. And it's
yeah,
just, I know that you have my back, and you know that I have yours 100%.
right,
And
right,
we just do our thing, man. We just, I don't know, we just click. You know what I'm saying? It's not, we just, we're just like, okay, well, we're gonna do this and then, okay, cool, let's just do it.
right,
We just gel, we just flow, we just,
right.
with our style, because at the end of
We
the day, uh,
right.
I think I had said, I get us in the room, but you get all the information in
Right.
the room, because you just have the incredible talent of just asking questions.
It's
Uh,
funny. It's funny you mentioned KDOT because, I was thinking about it, and KDOT has okay, for all the great things that KDOT does, right? KDOT has a terrible record of getting information from the cops, and it's because he doesn't have the magic touch like I do, and I don't know what
no,
it is that I do, but we could ask for, and we
it,
we we laugh about this all the time. KDOT can ask for the same exact information from the police that I do, but for some reason, I get that information lickety split, man. I mean, you know how
does.
like they usually like hold out if you get the information at all, KDOT, usually it takes you the full 20 days or however long it is to get that information. For me, it's like I put in information and less than a week later, I got it. It's like, and which, by the way, KDOT and I have something big brewing, and I can't tell you guys anything about it, but we will be getting more information on an officer that beat the crap out of a disabled person pretty soon. So we're
Yeah,
gonna go get that information, or at least I'm gonna get it because I know if KDOT get it puts it in, he's never gonna get it. So Barry Cooper channel transparency. I'm very very aware of Barry Cooper talking about decriminalization of marijuana, and I couldn't agree with him more on that particular subject. So Sasquatch says just went hot tub again. When did we go hot tub?
but I do
Um,
got another question for you.
yeah,
How do
go
you
ahead.
feel about? Well, this is Denver anyway.
Yeah.
Um, they are talking about decriminalizing jaywalking.
I'm
What do you feel about
100%
that?
for it, KDOT. I'm
Yeah.
I'm 100% for decriminalizing jaywalking and petty offenses like broken tail light and broken headlight and tinted windows and so many other things that that are stupid petty offenses that have gotten people killed. I just saw a video. I just got a chance to see the full video of Tyree Nichols. I know
Oh
you're
yeah,
probably familiar with that one, K Dot.
yes. That was a
Um,
horrible. Like I saw it right when it came out, and
I still am unclear why he got pulled over. Was it speeding? Was it, you know, it's unclear to me. I don't know what he was pulled over.
it's actually still unclear to the chief and
Right,
any other. They said they could not find any reason, even
right.
though it was stated because he was. The officers claim he was recklessly driving, but even that man was not worth the beating. That was literally the worst. And I've seen a lot of fucking police brutality videos,
Mm-hmm.
and I would have to say that was literally the worst I've ever seen ever. Even worse than George Floyd and Elijah McClain.
Yeah.
And that was bad. That was very
You know,
very bad.
it's funny, Kate. My dad and I were talking about this, and I was telling my dad, I was like, look, even if a person has a criminal record and a felony, and they get pulled over for a dumb thing like, let's say, speeding or something left out on the headlight or something. I mean, you don't just beat a guy to an inch of his life or take his life, you
Yeah,
know, because he got pulled over. It just doesn't make any sense
it
in the
doesn't.
grand scheme of things. I know what Sasquatch was talking about the hot tub. He says, looking into KDot's eyes and knowing he's a big one, because I mentioned you were among the big ones in Denver. How dare you, Sasquatch?
Oh,
Um, Gem City, welcome on in. He says, congrats, KDot. He was talking to one of their girlfriends, Gem City says.
thanks, Jim
Um,
City.
yeah. Well, oh, it was on the news that one of the police officers was talking to one of their girlfriends. Oh, he was talking to their girlfriend while driving, like in the car or on the phone or what? I mean,
Uh,
if someone's texting on the phone, I could see pulling somebody over and giving them a ticket. We talked about it, but here's another thing to talk about, KDOT, and I'll ask you this. Um, a lot of times the media will portray the person, like for instance George Floyd. I want to take you back to that for just a second. I'm not going to go over everything because the cop was convicted, he's a piece of shit, he deserved more time, et cetera, but one thing that a lot of people don't really get is that they tried to paint George Floyd in a really bad light, that he was a lifetime criminal
yeah,
at one point, I heard, which was total BS. The other
yeah,
thing I heard was that he had medical issues, and they were trying to give every excuse in the book for this man's death.
yeah.
And
It
I'm
felt
like,
like
think,
he was on trial instead of
yeah,
the
yeah,
actual perpetrator. But yeah,
yeah. Oh, they were hunting him, Gem City says. He met her prior. So, wow. No, I don't think you're making it up, Gem City. If that came out, they came out, although I do question mainstream media a lot of the time. I mean, there's a reason why KDOT and I call them the lamestream. They're horrible. It's what we're talking about now. They come up with a narrative. I mean, how many times, KDOT, have I covered something in the Denver metro area that the lamestream either doesn't cover at all or gets completely wrong,
right. All the
crazy.
time, man. And here's the thing. When we've talked about the whole, uh, you know, the situation as far as cop watchers or First Amendment auditors making money. Those are journalists at the end of the day,
Uh-huh.
and mainstream media makes money.
Oh, no
It's the
doubt.
same thing. Literally, it's the same thing, but they're backed by corporate dollars. But if they didn't get corporate dollar or any type of money, they wouldn't. You guys wouldn't have any type of news. You wouldn't know what's going on. So that's why it's so important to support the 1A people. If they're good at it, pay them for it. You know what I'm saying? If I contribute uh, money to some of the 1A people too, because I want them to go out there and I want them to get the updates and the journalistic uh recoveries of the news. I want them because they're gonna be out there before then. I meant I forgot. I think it's what's it was Z was it ZRG or ZFG or something like that. Um, when there was a mass shooting in Boulder
Mhm.
at the King Supers,
Mhm.
mainstream did not cover that first. It was a cop watcher.
Yep.
It was literally a cop watcher. And
Yeah.
when I mean dude was still shooting. And when he got out there were bodies in the parking lot.
Mhm.
He
Mhm.
covered all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of that.
I
So he
yeah.
put himself in danger. Like
Yeah.
I'm in ex- extreme danger. I don't know if I would have did the same thing, but uh and shout out to and he's, again, a Colorado auditor, and but you didn't see mainstream news until a little bit later. So,
Right. I mean, it's I covered a double murder in Aurora,
yep,
which in
sure did.
almost any other part, like maybe parts of Denver, it wouldn't have been covered. But let's say if that same scenario happened in Thornton or North Glen or Littleton or Sheridan or one what Highlands Ranch, like of course they would have been covered by the media, and it might even became national. But because of the area that I was in, the lamestream didn't even go out there, man. They wouldn't even
Right,
bother on a
right,
double homicide of all things, KDot.
right,
Like, in a slow news cycle, they didn't even think it was worth their time. So of course I covered it. Of course I
right,
did.
right.
So yeah, so there you go.
And which makes
Um
sense, yeah. So,
yeah. Hey, Gem City, no problem with bad words. The only thing is like the YouTube algorithms. I banned all the. I didn't ban them. I just held all the bad words for review. Just use symbols. I mean, it's simple. It saves the channel a lot of headache and drama and all. But no worries at all, Gem City. I know what you're trying to say.
I
What?
just did my first modding thing.
You did? Right on, Bernie. Thank you. So yeah, the lame stream, they're terrible and they get facts all wrong. There was another time, and I know you know this one too, Kate, out where I
uh-huh.
covered a shooting at the hill. It was a Hilton over off of Colfax, right by 225. That hill, I think it's a Hilton or a um I can't, it's one of those, it's not a schwanky hotel, but it's like, it's a hotel that's known, and it's right off of the highway there. And I covered it, and Fox News got there, and they
Yep.
they hijacked my interview, man. I was like, and what's funny is like when they hijacked my interview, I hijacked it back, and I got more information than they ever would.
You
So
did. You
it's
did, man.
it's
And
funny, man.
it was a really good interview that you gave that young man. So,
Yeah,
uh
yeah. I want to get back out and do more of that, man. It's been a little bit since I've caught a big scoop like that, but I always enjoy that because I know I give the people way more than the lame stream ever does. There was a shooting again in Aurora, that there was a resident that lived there, and the lamestream did their interview, and each of them, it was like Fox and ABC and NBC, I believe, and they did like a 2-minute interview with him and they moved on, right? Well, I sat there with the guy for 20 minutes talking about a variety of things that they should have been asking, and I didn't understand why they didn't take the time to do that. Well, I guess I do, because they got their scoop and they moved on, because it's all about money. But I agree with you. When people, like, I make very, very little money, but every once in a while somebody will throw me a 10 spot, and you should see the reaction from some of the haters out there. Oh, look, he's just doing it for money and all this stuff. And I'm like, are you crazy, man? Gas costs money, I mean, come on. It takes me
right.
gas to get out here. I got to make a living somehow. So but all right, let's talk about you a little bit more, Kate. I know you don't like talking about yourself and stuff, but what are we looking about at? I know I asked you this just a while ago, but
Sure.
we didn't get a chance to talk about it. But what do you got upcoming, Kate? What do you got to look forward to on your channel?
I got uh I definitely want to uh get some better camera equipment. Uh, um More interviews for sure from people who might have experienced uh, any type of issues with police brutality, especially in my city or anything like that. Please reach out to me, KDat at K. I'm sorry, KDatCopWatch@gmail.com. And I also want to start maybe helping others, some smaller channels, and sharing their stuff, and any way that I can to be a help. Not only that, I really there's a lot of people that don't know their rights, man. It's quite sad. And not in a negative way, but more in an ignorant way. And
Hmm.
ignorant is not a bad thing. Ignorant is just you just don't know, you know.
Hmm.
Not
Hmm.
willful ignorant. I'm talking about just ignorant.
Hmm.
Um and I want to start doing classes on rights with my attorney, and helping people out on that. Uh, uh get with the young people on that when it comes to that. More cop watching videos, more live sets. You guys love it, man, and you guys keep supporting me in that. And so and I think I'll start taking you guys on a few parties with me. Uh uh maybe a couple of gigs. I'll take you out with me, and you'll see me do my thing. So maybe do a couple of static videos on that, just so you guys can enjoy and see kind of behind the scenes of what I do. So
That would be
be pretty
great,
cool,
man.
man.
I mean, and you guys got to keep in mind too that the music that he uses is copyright. So, I mean, any money thrown KDot's way for those videos would be extremely helpful. So, I'm not pining for money. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying it does help. So, it's
It
like,
does. I mean, because you have to understand, when we get those records, and when we uh get those body worn cameras, and here's the thing, they charge us high on purpose, so they
yeah,
because they don't want us to get those. So when we finally get those information, that stuff costs money. It really does.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it benefits you in the long run, because you're really knowing what's going on, instead of I guess, before YouTube, and before our community was started, it was that the only sorts of information was the news that you had to rely on, and you had to be put on their narrative,
yeah.
instead of having different things going on, or different perspectives of stuff, and giving you the right news. So yeah,
Yeah, and asking the right questions. Channel
exactly.
transparency says lamestream media get their 30-second soundbite, move on, and I couldn't agree more, man. Like
Right.
that's why I like to do in-depth interviews. I mean, I told KDOT that I wanted to be here a half an hour, 45 minutes because there's a shooting in Aurora, of course, that we were going to cover, but look, I'm running late already, KDOT, and stuff, but because I always ask like as many questions as I possibly can, as detailed as
And
I
you're a
can.
great interviewer, by the
I try to be,
way.
man. I try to be. But you know, but anyways, let's speaking of, I mean, we really do got to wrap this up, K dot. So do you have any final thoughts, any plugs, anything
Sure.
you want to, plug before we take off here?
Um, if you're not subscribed to MLH's channel, make sure you do so. You're crazy if you don't. If
I
you're
hope
if
you take
you
this video and put it on your channel, K dot. That'd be really good.
um, so that's number one. But no, I definitely thank everybody here in the chat. Thank you for being here for my 10K celebration. It was a long road. It was a long journey, and sometimes it was sleepless nights. When everybody was asleep, I was out there grinding and grinding and grinding. Uh, making sure my neighborhood could sleep at night because we had the night watchers watching them. And I thank you so much for the love and support, and thank you for embracing and giving me grace and patience on my other content creations, like as far as my relationship show and the live stream slow jams and or live sets and other things. Another thing, this summer we're going to be actually going out on the streets
Mm-hmm.
asking people questions on relationships.
Oh.
That has not been done in Colorado. You see it in Miami and Texas, New York, all those popular cities, and I would consider us a popular state, you know. And it's time to get out and really ask those questions on relationship issues and more cop watch videos to come and more team ups with me and MLH to come.
No doubt
So
about that, K-Dot, no doubt. Next thing you know, K-Dot is gonna be the next host of, Press Your Luck or some other, wicked, daytime, TV, show, he's trying to audition, that's what it really is, he don't care about the questions, no, I'm kidding. Alright, make sure you check out DJ K-Dot, The Party. I know most of my subscribers are subscribed anyways, but check those subscriptions because sometimes you get unsubbed. So check them. And if you're not subscribed to DJ K. The Party, subscribe. It takes 2 seconds. It doesn't hurt anybody. As a matter of fact, you might learn something or you might be entertained because K. is infinitely entertaining on his cop watches, his DJing, his relationship show. He's got a great channel going. And I hope you guys all check him out. Like I said, like he said, be looking forward to more videos, more team ups with K. and I because I don't know. People like it when we go out there. We always get good on both of our channels. We always get love when we do it. So
yep,
expect more of that for
I
sure.
agree.
Also
I agree.
expect KDot to have a role in my movie when it comes out, probably the end of summer,
The great
because
movie.
you saw the written work. I still haven't sent
Yes.
Kmart the script. It didn't change too much from the written part,
Uh huh.
but you can expect Kdot to be great in it. His part is awesome. It's deeper than what people are going to initially think, but upon subsequent viewings, I think you guys will really get the message I'm trying to get with Kdot's character across. So be look. Can somebody hey Bernie, make yourself useful and put KDot's link in there
Oh,
for everybody to subscribe to DJ KDot.
okay.
That would be awesome.
I will get
All
it.
right, thank you very much. We'll hold off here a second here. Um, so I do want to thank KDOT for being here today. He could have been doing any number of things, but man, I called him up. I'm like, hey man, we got to celebrate your 10,000, bro. Let's do this. So I want to thank him. I want to thank each and everybody that was in chat for being here for this little shindig of ours. Really appreciate the fact that people are catching on to DJ KDOT. You really want to get in early and say that you were there part of the first section of KDOT's, I mean, many followers to come. I'm thinking that by the end of the year he could easily have 20, 25, 30, 40, maybe even 50,000 by the end of the year. So get in
Wow.
early because his lives are going to be crazy when it gets up to that much. And you know
Yeah.
what, it's funny, I'll tell you guys a little story. I was talking about this with KDOT. KDOT was blissfully unaware that he was getting up there. And I told him, I was like, KDOT, you're not only going to get 6,000, you're going to get 10,000. And here we are probably 2 weeks later. So it's been really awesome to see. And I really truly believe KDOT's the best in Denver, period. There's nobody better. So it's the channel that you guys really should look up to, at least here in Denver. And then eventually it's going to be nationwide. So I want to thank everybody for joining. Let's see, as far as I'm concerned, I don't have much slated for this week, but I know Wednesday, KDOT and I have some business to attend to. I already told you guys I'm going to get a cop file on Wednesday, and hopefully I'll have that and we'll report on that sooner than later. What else, KDOT? Mustachioed has been rumored to have a new target in his site. So
Uh-oh.
you guys can look out for that. He's already done the big guns like KDot and others, but you never know what that dude's gonna do. So
Exactly.
make sure
Exactly.
you check that out. Also, I heard Mustachio might have some big news as far as some other things going on. So you might check that out as well. Um, Hot Tub will probably return not this Thursday, but Saturday, right, Bernie?
Saturday.
Yep. So Hot Tub on Saturday, an unusual day. And I will post to everybody out there. I know Mick T was sorely disappointed last week when we didn't have because Bernie was getting a tattoo. So
Mm-mm-mm.
uh,
Damn MLH.
this is my personal nudge to KDot to watch The
Mhm.
Shining. We still got a show to watch. Um,
Yes, man. This, this, we've been kind of busy on. I've been doing gigs like crazy.
I know, I
And
know
then
you
we've
have,
been
man.
also busy with this case. So yes, I need to watch The Shining. You know what? My cousin did say he was just like, he actually disagrees with you. It being the
Really?
scariest movie.
No, we'll talk about it, Kate. And if he wants to be on the show, I'll have no problem taking him down as well. But I'm going to educate you for sure, and then he can come on and disagree with me all he wants, but he's going to be absolutely wrong. I am
It's gonna
adamant.
be
The
that
Shining
should
is
be
the
an
scariest.
interesting conversation right there.
It's and it's
That's
to
gonna
me,
be
it's not a matter of perception either. It's a matter of that movie has so. Oh, anyways, that's for a different show. You can expect that as soon as KDOT decides to watch The Shining, we will do
yeah.
a show that Sasquatch has been asking for us
Yes.
for a long
Yes.
time. But
Yes.
we'll get that done and get that that one. I mean, I could talk for hours, but I'll try to keep it up for like maybe 45 minutes at best. But anyways, yeah, it's been really interesting, and I hope you guys check out DJ K. The Party's channel. Um, just an awesome channel, an awesome dude, and deserves all the credit in
Appreciate
the
you, man.
world.
Thank
So
you, and I
yeah,
love you, man. And I
I love you
appreciate
too, man. You know, I'm
everything you've done for me. And
oh shit, man.
he's
You,
Kiss
he's
at
he's
the
just
top.
he's always
kisses
there
and
for me.
hugs.
So.
That's for hot tub burning. Get out of here. All right. Like I said, special thanks, DJ Kate out the party, everybody that was in here. If you're listening on the archives, please check out the channel, hit the like button, all that good fun stuff. And do you have anything else, Kate, before we jet?
I think that's it. I mean,
All right.
just look forward to. I think this year is gonna be. I'm telling you, there's gonna be a lot of shit that's gonna be unveiled.
Right. Right.
Especially with the Royal Police. So just
Yep.
just just stay tuned.
Stay tuned
You'll
for
you'll
sure.
you'll know.
Yep. Let's see. All right. Be kind to others, be kind to your family, but most importantly, be kind to yourself. We'll see you guys on the next video. Later, everybody.